بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. May the peace and the blessing of the Lord be with you and upon you. So, Moses, we said previously, he was raised in the palace of Pharaoh, under the protection of Pharaoh and his wife, Asiya. But he was nursed, since Asiya was barren and she could not nurse him, he was nursed by his own mother in the same palace. And he spent his days and nights enjoying that atmosphere until God says in chapter 28, Surah al-Qasas, the stories, وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ وَاسْتَوَى آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. It says in the translation, when he reached maturity and was firmly established. What does it mean, maturity? Maturity, many commentators on the Quran and scholars believe that he reached the physical maturity. He reached 18 years old or 20 years old. This is physical maturity. Wastawa, it's a reference to his intellectual maturity. So now he's physically and intellectually mature. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ وَاسْتَوَى آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. We have given him wisdom and we have given him knowledge. Thus, وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Thus do we recompense the virtuous. Virtuous who put their trust in God. Virtuous who have faith in God. We will guide them. We will provide them with our sustenance. And sustenance is not just food and drink. There are things that are more important. They are wisdom and knowledge. Some people have knowledge, but they don't have wisdom. It does not work. What complements knowledge is wisdom. آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. And thus we recompense every virtuous. This is not just for Moses. Put your trust in God, God will find you a way. God will bestow wisdom on you. You don't get confused in your life. So one day, وَدَخَلَ الْمَدِينَةَ عَلَى حِينِ غَفْلَةٍ مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا. One day, he left the palace. Some commentators believe that the palace was outside the city, at the outskirts of the city. It was not in the city center, in downtown area, but it was outside. So he entered the city, عَلَى حِينِ غَفْلَةٍ, at a time of heedlessness among its people. It was empty. People probably, they say, people were resting in their homes. فَوَجَدَ فِيهَا رَجُلَيْنِ يَقْتَتِلَانِ هَذَا مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ وَهَذَا مِنْ عَدُوِّهِ. He found two people are fighting among themselves. One of them is from his own party. مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ, it means from his own party, meaning the children of Israel at that time. وَهَذَا مِنْ عَدُوِّهِ. The second one is among his enemies, which at that time were the Copts. فَاسْتَغَاثَهُ الَّذِي مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ. The one who's among his party and people, he asked for help. He asked for help against the one who's his enemy. على الذي من عدوه فوكزه موسى. So Moses, what he did, he rushed. He struck him. He struck the enemy. He struck the Copt. He struck him with his fist and put an end to him. فقضى عليه. It reminds me of some boxers in the arena, like Mike Tyson and others. With one strike, they put an end to their rivals. And this is exactly what happened. A moment came where Moses was overwhelmed with his anger because he kept seeing instances of injustice and oppression and abuse against his own people. So when this man, who was part of his own people, asked him for help, and he shouted, "Help! Help me!" Moses rushed. And at that time, Moses was young, probably in his early 20s. So he struck that man, and he puts an end to his life. فَوَكَزَهُ مُوسَى فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ. Now, when he killed him, he realized that he did something very bad, terribly wrong. قال هذا من عمل الشيطان إنه عدو مضل مبين. He said, this is the work of Satan, what I did. Now, some people say the work of Satan is a reference to the fight between these two. So as if Moses was saying that when those people, those two enemies were fighting among themselves, this is the work of Satan. But if you look closely at the verse, if you examine it, you will find Moses means that what I did, the way I killed this man, the way I rushed to strike him with my fist, this is the work of Satan. إن هذا من عمل الشيطان قال هذا من عمل الشيطان إنه عدو مضل مبين. This is truly, he is a manifest enemy, leading people astray. عدو مضل مبين. Immediately, look, when virtuous people, they do something wrong, they regret immediately without any delay. Whereas someone who's arrogant and his heart is empty of faith, he or she would not regret. First thing they do is to put the blame on others. They don't take responsibility. They don't say, we did something wrong. They don't admit. Rather, they blame others. But Moses did not do that because he's virtuous and he's righteous. He accepted the responsibility immediately. What did he say? قال رب إني ظلمت نفسي. I have wronged myself by killing this person. I did not do something good. I should have waited. I shouldn't have rushed to go and strike him with my fist. I could have listened to the argument to see what happened. So in this case, I have wronged myself. قال رب إني ظلمت نفسي فاغفر لي. You know, my friends, a person who pays attention to his mistakes and his errors is a very fortunate person. This is why God said we have given him wisdom and knowledge. This is part of being wise. When you do something wrong, you don't wait for people to tell you that this is wrong. You realize and you admit. And then you go back to God and ask him for forgiveness, immediate forgiveness. قال رب إني ظلمت نفسي فاغفر لي. Forgive me. Forgive me what I did. فغفر له. When God saw Moses is sincere and he's apologizing for what he did, he realized what he did was wrong, was an act of aggression, to kill someone before listening to what happened between them. But of course we have to say that the killing was not intentional. Moses did not intend from the beginning to put an end to his life. Moses just wanted to defend his fellow Israelite against the aggression of that Copt. but he did not want to kill him. So it's not an intentional murder. It's not. Or a premeditated murder. It's accidental. This is accidental. They call it, the fuqaha, the jurists in the Islamic, literature, they call it qatlul khata, by mistake, by error. So, فَغَفَرَ لَهُ إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. God is most merciful, most compassionate. When you are sincere in asking forgiveness, He will forgive. قَالَ رَبِّ بِمَا أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيْهِ. For the blessings you have bestowed upon me, فَلَنْ أَكُونَ ظَهِيرًا لِلْمُجْرِمِينَ. From now on, I would not be a supporter. Dhahir means supporter. For those who are sinners and criminals. Meaning that I will watch out for what I am going to do from now on. I will have more patience. I would look into what I am going to do. I'm not going to rush into these actions that results in abusing or murdering or wronging someone else. I will take my time to reflect. Before I react, I have to think of the consequences. I have to think of the action itself, whether it is good or bad, whether it is just or unjust. فَأَصْبَحَ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ خَائِفًا يَتَرَقَّبُ. He became fearful in the town. He became, in the morning, فَأَصْبَحَ, fearful and vigilant. خَائِفًا يَتَرَقَّبُ. قال ربي يترقب فإذا الذي استنصره بالأمس يستصرخه قال له موسى إنك لغوي مبين. The same man who was involved in a fight the day earlier, he had another fight again with another person, another Egyptian. And he called upon Moses to help him. The one who had sought his help the day before cried out to him for help. Moses said to him, truly you are clearly in error. غَوِيٌّ مُبِينٌ. You are in error. You are creating a fight every day. And I'm not going to help you this time. I'm not going to stand with you because you are an aggressor. But when he desired to strike him, who was an enemy unto them both, he said, the Coptic, the Egyptian said, أتريد أن تقتلني كما قتلت نفسا بالأمس? Do you intend to murder me the same way you murdered that person yesterday? إن تريد إلا أن تكون جبارا في الأرض وما تريد أن تكون من المصلحين. Then, you want to be a tyrant then. You don't want to be one of the reformists, one of the reformers who bring reforms, who bring peace. You want to be a tyrant. You are intending to sow the seeds of division in this city. In that case, while Moses was listening to the argument of the Copt, وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِّنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ. From afar, a man came. Afar, it means the location of the palace of Pharaoh. Because apparently, when Moses committed the unintentional murder, the first murder, he did not go back to the palace. He was worried. So he did not go to the palace. So the following day, when the news broke that Moses killed an Egyptian and they were looking for him, a man came from the palace, which was afar from the city, at the outskirts of the city, and he said, قال يا موسى إن الملأ يأتمرون بك ليقتلوك. يأتمرون, they made a conference. They gathered to discuss your punishment. ليقتلوك فاخرج إني لك من الناصحين. I'm an honest advisor to you. Leave the city. There is no room for you in this city anymore. It's better to leave because your life is in danger. And if they capture you, there is no guarantee that you will survive. And I am one of the good advisors to you. إني لك من الناصحين فخرج منها خائفا يترقب. So he left the city. He left from there fearful and vigilant. He said, my Lord, save me from the wrongdoers. قال رب نجني من القوم الظالمين. Again, he puts his trust in God. He's well connected with God. He does not do anything without speaking to God first, without communication with God, without telling God what he wants to do, without asking God for help. So he left the city, vigilant, fearful, but at the same time asking for God's guidance. وَلَمَّا تَوَجَّهَ تِلْقَاءَ مَدْيَنَ. When he turned his face towards Madian, according to the Bible, and Madian according to the Quran. And in this journey, he didn't have any food with him. He had no money with him. Neither he knew the direction. When he left the city, he did not know anything about direction. Neither he knew about his final destination, where he's going to end up. So he left. He just left. He puts his trust in God and he leaves the city. Until he reaches ولما توجه تلقاء مدين قال عسى ربي أن يهديني سواء السبيل. I desire, I wish, I pray to my God to show me the right path, the right way to my destination. And God showed him. God created GPS for him in the desert. He knew nothing about the direction, but God guided him to his direction. And he reached that destination. He arrived. Some people say few days, some people say few weeks. We really don't know the exact days that he spent in the desert. All what we know that he arrived into the city of Madian, tired, exhausted, hungry, not knowing where to go. And at that time, Prophet Shu'aib was the prophet and the messenger of God in that city. So he arrives into a well where people were drawing water. And then he saw two ladies standing by, not mingling with the rest of the crowd. So he came to them. He's a man of chivalry. He's a man of honor and dignity. He could not find two ladies standing away from the crowd and not being helped. And this equality should be found in our men, in our young generation. When you see another person, be it male or female, who needs some help, even if he or she would not ask for help, you must offer your help. This is part of chivalry. This is part of manhood. This is part of being a real human being with real heart. This is part of being thoughtful. Go to them and tell them, how can I help you? Do you need help? And we can do this in our daily life. We can always see people who require help. Sometimes in the underground, in the subway, in the metro, in the airplane, at the airport, in the terminal, in the street, in the marketplace, at the school, at the hospital. There are always people. Offer your service. And this is exactly what this man did. He went to them. He said, "Why are you standing here aside?" They said, "This is our tradition. قالتا لا نسقي حتى يصدر الرعاء وأبونا شيخ كبير." We don't have a big brother to help us. Our father is an elderly man. He cannot make it here. And we, the two daughters, we took it upon ourselves to help our father to draw the water from the well. So he decided, he said, "I will do that." And he took the bucket and he lowered it into the well and he watered for them. He supplied them with water. Then he went into the shade under the tree. And he was so hungry. Again, he spoke to his friend. To the friend that we all need at all times. And we should always speak to him at the time of adversity as well as the times of relief, at the time of weakness as well as the times of strength, at the time of loneliness as well as the times where we are surrounded with families and friends. We should never forget to speak to this Lord, to this friend, to this companion, because he is trusted. And you can count on him. You can count on him. So he spoke to his Lord. قال رب إني لما أنزلت إلي من خير فقير. Yes, you have given me so much things in the past, but still I am in need to you. Do not abandon me. I need you. I am full of needs to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
رمضان رمضان ليتك